Okay, so the next exercise you want to look at, which is kind of the next stage, and setting your foundation, your straight foundation for the rest of your back, is we'll look at what we call doing glute bridges. So the other problem a lot of people have got, again, a lot of it is tied down to being set down, bad posture for too long, is that not only the lower abdominals are weak, but so the glutes as well. Both the lower abdominals and the glutes help control that pelvic tilt and give you that kind of stability around your pelvis, upon which your lower back's got to sit. So obviously what we want to do is a nice stable foundation for the back to sit on, so it makes everything else easier. So once you've got the hang of the dead bugs and getting the lower abs switched on, you've got that practiced in, the next stage in then is to add on top of that the next exercise, which is the glute bridge. So same again, I'm on the floor, so I know I'm going to be nice and safe, there's no risk of any further injury. My feet here are about hip width apart, and what I do with guys when they first start off is I'll get them to pull their toes up, just so it's a little bit easier to get the glutes to switch on, as opposed to getting the quads to fire. So the movement we're looking for, just arms down to the side, is we're going to go from here and we're going to shoot our hips up like that by squeezing the glutes as high as we can. And what I get my guys to do is I get them to hold for a 10-second count, so they get a chance to really lock it in, and then they're going to come down super smooth, just touch the floor, and then come straight back up again without resting or dropping their body weight. And again, lock back in for a 10-second squeeze, trying to focus on these glutes. Now what's going to happen, if you go straight to having your feet flat, although that is more stable, I find what happens with my guys when they do that, is that as they come up, they generally tend to feel like their quads or their hamstrings are kicking a bit too much. Obviously what we want to do with this exercise is we want to try and get the quads, the glutes, working on their own as much as we can, and get them nice and strong so they pull the pelvis straight. So I find if you put your toes up initially, especially when you first start doing them, you can find it a little bit easier to get it onto your glutes. The other thing to mention is as well, if you're kind of locked into the real acute stages of back pain, everything's really sharp, you'll find what will happen is, because your back's unstable, the muscles around your hips will kind of lock up, and you'll find doing a glute bridge is going to be almost impossible. You're going to get stuck just even getting an inch off the floor. It's not going to want to sort of go all the way up and definitely not lock onto your glutes. So what we've got to do is make sure, first of all, you start off with the dead bugs and getting the lower abs locked in, and then once they're kind of locked in and they're starting to work, it's a little bit easier to come higher up, and that's a question of then just being really controlled and smooth and just refine your technique each day until eventually you'll get a little bit higher the next day, and then eventually you better lock all the way in and you'll feel like it isn't sat on here, isn't sat on your back too much, but it's locked right on those glutes in there. And it's a question of that's the most frustrating phase, because it looks like a simple exercise, but it's one of those ones you're going to really kind of stay with it and keep practicing it. And the good thing is about these exercises is that you can do them multiple sets, multiple times a day, and in actual fact it's actually beneficial if you do, because you'll find you'll get out of trouble a lot quicker, and you're going to get the right technique